Has Trump's tariff gamble backfired? Well, we are going to take a look at evolving developments with respect to two countries, China and India, and talk a little bit about what is happening, how it's going to be affecting United States and its economy and its farmers, and what is the fallback mechanism for them. All this and more in a small slide deck. A request to all of you, as always, to like this video. If you have not already followed our channel, please do subscribe to our channel, and here we go.
𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗥𝗏 is a magic and unique place with an overwhelming history.
𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗥𝗏 is the most inspiring place I have ever visited. I am grateful to all.
Trump's tariff gamble backfires. You know, and I've been saying this also, that Trump has considerably softened his stand towards China in the recent weeks. And now we are seeing that China has also dealt the American farmer another blow. And I'm going to talk about this because this has had a history. Even in the first term of Trump, there was soybean, which was in the center of controversy, and this coming back again to haunt the Trump administration. What has happened? You remember that at the beginning of his term, Trump had launched aggressive tariffs on China. It went up to 240% or something of that nature. Then suddenly everything went quiet. Nobody knew what was going on. Even today, I don't know what is going on between China and US in terms of trade negotiations. It is believed that their premier came to talk. I don't know if he met with Trump or not, but he was here as part of UNGA, but he hasn't said, not much is available in the public domain as to what was discussed between Trump and the premier or vice premier, I don't remember exactly, even if there was a meeting. So what has happened is that, Trump tried to play the fact that China depends upon US's soybeans and tried to use this card. They did this thing in the first term also. I'll tell you what happened that time. But now let's see what happens. They thought that by using the soybean card that they would be able to force concessions from China. Well, what China did was it has done, retaliated with counter tariffs and has halted purchases of US soybeans since May 2025. See, it stopped during the first term of Trump, then it resumed again after some time. I don't know if it happened within the first term itself or if it happened during the Biden administration. Now in May 2025, the Chinese have stopped importing soybeans from US. So where are they getting it from? That I will tell you in just a moment. Here are some of the numbers to understand. The American farmers are probably sweating now because the harvest season has just peaked. Soybean exports to China had already been battered during the first term, plunging from $14 billion in 2016 to $3.1 billion in 2018. The current freeze echoes that collapse. Now we are 7 years later. Now what is happening is Beijing is sourcing huge volumes of soybeans from Brazil and Argentina, cementing new supply chains and reducing dependence on the United States. Analysts warn that this realignment could be permanent. Once supply lines are set, Chinese buyers may never return to United States producers. China's move also aligns with the broader self-sufficiency strategy to insulate against US trade pressures. So what is the impact on US farmers? Midwest states, Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota, Nebraska, Indiana, crucial GOP constituencies. I think all of them at this point, maybe Minnesota is not, but all the others are Republican, are the hardest hit. Agricultural exports to China overall decreased by 53% in the first 7 months of 2025. Farmers fear financial ruin, warning that even a late deal between Trump and Xi, expected at the November APEC summit, may arrive too late to save the shipping season. So there's going to be obviously a political fallout. Agriculture lobbies, long allies of Trump, are now criticizing the tariffs for causing the freeze. White House insiders admit being caught off guard by farmer outrage, prompting Trump to announce plans for cash bailout from the payments that he is getting by way of tariffs from various countries. But this still needs congressional approval. Critics say the advent is hurting US farmers while proposing a $20 billion backstop for Argentina, a direct soybean export rival. 𝗏, we're talking about 𝗏, right? This man is supposed to have ushered a revolution and in economic revolution in Argentina, although they are in the dumps all right. So they need that bailout package from US. So on the one hand, they are taking bailout package from the US, and on the other hand, they are nudging US out and selling soybeans to China. What do you think the US farmer is going to think? Just I'm asking you a rhetorical question. I'm not taking sides here. I'm just telling you, as a human being, what are you going to do? What are you going to think? Will the US farmer who is going to lose out on this approve or sign off on this for Trump? So there are huge problems here. Now, Chuck Grassley, a Republican from Iowa, has blasted the move, demanding farm aid be prioritized. So beyond all these trade retaliations, Beijing is playing it very smart, I should say, because they are leveraging soybeans to exert political pressure on Trump by hitting farm-heavy swing states ahead of the US midterm elections. China has also deepened its ties with Latin American countries through the Belt and Road initiatives, a $9 billion credit line announced in May, and multiple free trade agreements with Peru, Chile, and Costa Rica. Chinese state media frames US unpredictability as an opening for Beijing to present itself as a reliable partner to the global south. Look, China has mastered this communication thing. Being able to plant. You should see the bot farms, how they basically create fake narratives, and whether it is India in the form of the Modi administration or United States in the form of Trump administration, they have not been able to take this thing head on and present the true facts. Now, this is as far as China is concerned. Now let's take a look at what is happening between India and United States. H1B, the 50%, 25% additional tariffs for buying oil from Russia. So US has been on a tear as far as levying tariffs on India is concerned. So India is going to respond. And how is India responding? India is the world's largest edible oil importer, purchasing a record of 300,000 tons of soya oil from Argentina in just 2 days after Argentina scrapped export taxes. Essentially what that means is the cost to India of the soy oil just came down drastically. The bulk buy, October to March of 2026 shipment, came at between $1,100 to $1,120 per ton, making it cheaper than palm oil. Remember the palm oil saga, Mahathir Mohamad? India just, that guy was on a rant. He went on and on and on and on and on and on, and then until finally India just acted and banned palm oil imports from Malaysia. Within a few weeks, Mahathir Mohamad was gone. Now the new one, I think his name is 𝗵𝐷𝐿𝟸🏞, if I remember correctly. He has also been making some noises. Let's hope that he doesn't do anything foolish. But be that as it may, now India has options because this is cheaper than palm oil. So in the market, the taste between soy oil and palm oil, I don't think there is much of a difference. I'm talking about people who make the usual oily stuff that is very popular in India, especially during festival season. And this is it's the beginning of the festival season. So the move on part of India to aggressively shift towards Argentina tells us two things. First of all, it's getting a better deal, and second of all, it is getting a dream of a deal from Argentina, and it's also shifting not only to Argentina but Brazil, Russia, and Ukraine. They also will be giving oil. So India is making its own moves. For example, the months of I think October, November, December, and I think even January, these are seasonal demand goes up because of festivals, and this will prompt India to get the supplies at the lowest cost so that they can hold the price down, hold the inflation down. With China out of the picture after cotton and corn, to appease its soybean farmers, the Trump administration pressured India to get GMO soybeans and soybean oil cakes from the US. But India has moved towards Argentina for strategic cooperation and economic opportunities. See, this is how India has hit back. US has a decision to make. What are you going to do? For soya oil, that market that you might have had to sell into India that may be gone. And if these things hold for a while, then who knows how this thing will change afterwards. Now, so the dilemma for the US is whether to export soybeans or use them domestically for meat production. This is the dilemma that the US wants to exploit. The US Soy Export Association is already eyeing South Asia for its soybeans surpluses. But the big picture here, what's the conclusion? The Trump administration's tariff first trade strategy has backfired in its two most critical markets. China, once the largest buyer of US soybeans, has decisively shifted towards Brazil and Argentina, locking American farmers out of their biggest export destination. Meanwhile, India, the world's largest edible oil importer, is increasingly sourcing from Argentina and Southeast Asia after US tariffs and inconsistent policies undermine trust. I think this is the important message that India is giving, that we don't think we can trust you anymore, America. I don't think they are saying this to the Americans, but to the Trump administration and its 180-degree moving action sometimes. With supply chains shifting and distrust rising, the US risks losing major growth markets, a setback that tariffs cannot fix. See, this is the thing. Others are not sitting idly. They are going to say, okay, I am going to wean myself off of America, and let me see where else I can go and wean myself off of America, right? So these are all things that the Trump administration should have foreseen. See, this is a multi-player chess where US is playing chess against multiple countries. And if it says that to a country like China, that I'm going to checkmate you in 4 moves or 8 moves, whatever you want to say, then you better know that no matter which way China moves, it's going to get checkmated. And I think that part of the homework the Trump administration may have not done. They may not have seen through the second order, third order effects of this tariff policy. Let's hope that sanity reigns and US can quickly correct itself. Because if the farmers can't produce, I mean, yeah, you can give them credit, or you can even give them dollars and then take their soya, their produce, and dump it in the ocean or whatever. But this next year, they'll be thinking twice as hard whether they should continue to vote for Trump or they should seek somebody else. So a lot of things in play. I think Trump has a problem on his hands. Let's see how this plays out. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.